confidence is there. Hope is back for Nigeria.
Hello, this is Executive Recap on the network service of the NTA, the program that keeps you abreast of decisions and happenings from the topmost seat of power in the preceding week, and of course with fresh perspectives to the issues. Thanks for giving us a bit of your time. I am Musbah Nanwahab. Now, significantly in the outgone week, the 10-day protest by some sections of Nigerians ended after some trying moments. Lives lost and properties, public and private, were destroyed. Some other protesters went apparently overboard beyond expectations. The unexpected happened with some persons caught flying foreign flags in parts of the country, specifically in Kano and Kaduna. The action was considered absurd and a threat to the sovereignty of a nation. This and other matters necessitated an emergency meeting convened by President Bola Tinubu. Service chiefs and other heads of security agencies were in the State House for the meeting. The exigency of the situation gave the meeting priority over the Federal Executive Council meeting earlier scheduled for last week Monday. The meeting was behind closed doors. But afterwards, Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa reviewed the major outcomes as President Bola Tinubu directed the security agencies to remain resolute and stand up against any individual or group of persons trying to undermine the sovereignty of a country.
For those of them flying flags, if you see a lot of them are kids being pushed to do that. We're following up with those ones that are sponsoring them, those that are pushing them, because you know the flags were also made. We identified those areas and we're going to take serious action against that. The president is clear on his instructions for us not to accept anyone that wants to disrupt the peace and tranquility of Nigeria. And we are all standing here together to show Nigerians that we're working closely, we're working together in synergy to ensure that there's peace and tranquility in Nigeria. That we have assured Mr. President.
It was also an opportunity for the security agencies and particularly the military to reaffirm their loyalty and dedication to the protection of the country's democratic government.
Also the issue of coups. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. Nigeria is a democratic nation. All security agencies are here to defend democracy and make sure that democracy continues to strive. We will not accept anyone pushing or taking any action, seemingly or for whatever reason, to want to push for any change of government. Democracy is what we stand for. Democracy is what we continue to defend.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu again attended to some pressing African sub-regional matters as he says ECOWAS will continue to persuade the military leaders of Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso to return their nations to the bloc. President Tinubu, who is the chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Governments, reaffirmed this position at a meeting with ECOWAS Chiefs of Defense Staff who were in Abuja for a meeting. The president said the priority of the authority is to ensure that security is enhanced and that constitutional government is defended and promoted in the region. He acknowledged that it has been a challenging tenure for him since 3 members indicated their exit, adding that the authority will work hard to persuade them to return whichever way. The ECOWAS chairman commended the defense chiefs for their commitment to regional stability and protection of constitutional order. Chairman ECOWAS Chiefs of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa informed the president that the defense chiefs had agreed that challenges in the region, such as insurgency and unconstitutional changes in government, must be addressed collectively. The Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff revealed that Discussions at the meeting of the chiefs also focused on enhancing the capacity of ECOWAS military components, including the proposed standby force.
We are extending olive branch to those countries, Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. I want them to understand that we are not enemies. We are all brothers and sisters. All that is required is the action they've taken, which is unconstitutional. They should look at that and consider and return back to democracy. That is the only issue on ground. We members of the armed forces, both in Nigeria and sister African countries, are here to defend democracy, to ensure that democracy thrives well in Africa, and we will continue to do that. So we call on them. We know that they cannot do it alone, and because insurgency does not respect any border, so that's why it's important for us to work as a team, and that's the only way we feel that we'll be able to address these issues.
During the outgone week, President Bola Tinubu raised concerns over the implications of unregulated mining activities on people's health and environment of the mining areas, with passionate appeal for search for urgent solutions. It was when the president received participants of the course 32 of the National Defense College at the State House. The solid mineral sector is getting an improved attention as the current administration strives to take its economy beyond the monocultural nature. The political will of the administration to mine the best of benefit from the sector was equally demonstrated in a presidential suggestion to the NDC Course 32 participants to join in the search for how to translate intention to action. Guided by the theme, Harnessing the Mining Industry for Enhanced National Security and Development, Strategic Options for Nigeria by 2035. After months of research within and outside the country, the course participants have come up with recommendations.
The presentation by the participants.
Strategic as the options are, the recommendations include improved layers of security for the sector as well as value addition to the minerals. President Bola Tinubu acknowledged the need for the diversification of the economy through the solid mineral sector as well as proper security of the sector.
We've been pushing hard to ensure and your involvement, we equally promote better understanding and the security of area. We have challenges of scavengers and exploiters going on around the country right now. We have to be able to nip that in the bud.
But more important to the president is how to protect the health of residents and the mining environments.
We should understand that people live with the environment, and that environment is important to those who are in the area.
The value addition that was recognized in that presentation is something that is very, very important and significant in our march towards ensuring maximum benefits derivable from the solid mineral sector.
It's not all about physical security. We must be able to translate whatever it is that is happening in the mining industry into tangible outcomes that will be beneficial to the entire country, but especially the host communities where these minerals themselves are located.
The course 32 participants, which include 19 officers from across Africa, Asia, Europe and South America, have gone through 11 months of training in the National Defense College. They are therefore set to make a presentation before a Nigerian president. Now joining us to get some perspectives to the security issues we have is the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar. Thanks a lot for joining us, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much for having me.
Honourable Minister, we've seen 10 days of protests across the country, though more intense in some parts of the country. Now, how do you assess the collaboration between the security agencies in handling this nationwide agitation?
Well, it has been fantastic. I have been saying it in many fora that the choice that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did on the service chiefs is very good, because we have a really very good synergy among ourselves and among the operators. As you can see, all the services work together tirelessly to support the country in handling this issue of protest. And that is how we have been working fighting terrorism across the country. Without jointness, there won't be good operation in any military or paramilitary operation. The jointness help. The synergy between the agencies really help to coordinate and to handle this issue effectively well. And that is incredible.
Now, Honourable Minister, for the first time, participants from the National Defence College had the opportunity to make a presentation before the President, and it was on how to look for solution to the mining sector, issues surrounding mining sectors. And you know quite well how investigations have shown how the contribution that this sector make to the insecurity we have in some parts of the country. Now, what do you say to these findings by the participants?
Well, in President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda of diversifying the economy of the country, really he pays a lot of attention on solid minerals and other exportable commodities produced in the country. And because of that, there were attacks to research on the development of solid minerals in Nigeria. And they have come up with a beautiful paper, and it was presented to Mr. President. And President, being the father of all, was concerned with the health and safety of the people living around the mining sites, and instruct that health issues have to be also be discussed and be included in the paper, so that as we move towards diversifying our economy through solid minerals, we also have to look at the health and the welfare of the people around the mining sites. They have done beautifully well. We commend them for this effort, and I believe it will be very, very useful for the development of our economy and the mining sector. It says that we are not only researching on security issues, but also issues pertinent to the development of the country.
Honourable Minister of Defence Muhammad Badaru Abubakar, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we swear in colors, we undying demand, we bet solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Certainly, Nigerians cannot have enough discussions on issues of good governance and its current structure. Those issues came up again when the President received a group of Nigerian leaders of thought under the umbrella of the Patriots, led by former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Chief Emeka Anyoko. President Tinubu leveraged on the forum to re-emphasize his dedication to good governance and other measures that will lead to the general happiness of Nigerians. A clarion call is sounding again. The patriots are here to answer. And perhaps the leaders of thought also have an urgent call for the Nigerian leader, all in the pursuit of a greater Nigeria. From the advantage position of experience as well as observation of global trends at an earlier national colloquium, they see a Nigerian situation calling for a timely action to protect Nigeria's unity in diversity.
The view was that Nigeria needs a new legitimate Nigeria People's Democratic Constitution, that the present constitution is illegitimate and cannot deal effectively with the myriad challenges facing this country. In other words, that our present governance system needs to be restructured.
In further recommendations, they suggest establishment of a national referendum and a national constituent assembly that will reconsider the existing constitution, report of the 2014 confab, as well as other similar national conferences.
The draft constitution produced by the Constituent Assembly, as I said, should be put to a national referendum, and if approved, should then be signed by the President as the genuine, legitimate Nigerian People's Constitution.
I've listened to you carefully.
And though currently preoccupied with economic reform for greater prosperity of the country, President Tinubu equally believes in the necessity of the recommended reforms.
Avoidance of chaos is necessary to build this country and move its aspiration across the line for the benefit of all of us. I'm still preoccupied with thinking and tinkering with the economic reform. That's my first priority. Once I get that reform in place as soon as possible, then I look at other options.
The President assures of his commitment to good governance and unity of Nigeria.
I definitely want to assure you that whatever is necessary, I'll put happiness and good governance in the heart of all Nigerians. This is what I will do.
On the nationwide agitation by a section of Nigerians, the leaders advised federal and state governments to dialogue with leaders of the protest for a common solution. Now, just in a matter of days, Nigeria will soon have a new head for its federal civil service. And the incoming head of the civil service of the Federation, Mrs. Esther Walson-Jack, has been expressing readiness to implement the vision of President Bola Tinubu to transform the nation's federal civil service for maximum efficiency. Mrs. Walson-Jack, led by the outgoing head of civil service, Mrs. Folashade Yemi-Esan, was on an introductory visit to the President of the State House. After the meeting, Mrs. Yemi-Esan said the visit was necessary to further prepare the incoming #1 civil servants for the task ahead.
We had a good time chatting with Mr. President, sharing his vision for the country and especially for the civil service with the incoming head of service. And that should prepare her, that should make her hit the ground running so that she can achieve all that Mr. President had discussed with us.
I'm sure you must have been working with her in the civil service for some time now. How capable would you say she is for this very, very important task?
She is very, very capable. She's very intelligent, she's hardworking, and she's professional, and she has a lot of empathy. So I'm sure she can carry that responsibility. I have no doubts at all in my mind that she would do the work very well.
I'm very, very grateful to Mr. President for the confidence and trust that he has reposed in me in appointing me as the head of the civil service of the Federation. I see it as a divine assignment, and I have had the opportunity to assure Mr. President that by the grace of God, I will not disappoint him. I come as a servant of all to work together with not only the permanent secretaries, but also the directors and the entire civil service to enable us deliver on the renewed hope agenda.
The presidential compressed natural gas CNG initiative to power the transport sector has received another support, as it is described as the best option for the country going forward. A founder of a Nigerian indigenous automobile manufacturing company, Innocent Chukwuma, commended President Bola Tinubu's administration for the initiative intended to transform the transportation sector and cut down the cost of transport in the country. Mr. Chukwuma spoke to State House correspondents after his meeting with the president.
Government initiative on CNG is the best idea for transportation in this country, because CNG, a lot of benefit on CNG, using Nigeria to use CNG, because that benefit is what I see before I started the factory to produce vehicle on CNG. I've discussed with them, and they will see that in a short time, masses, public, will have enough CNG buses on the roads.
He equally joined in appealing to Nigerians to allow the president more time for his social and economic policies to yield the expected positive results.
Let them give him time. Everything they want, they will see the better of Nigeria. They will give him short time. Let everybody calm down for him. I'm begging Nigeria.
And that has been the executive recap for this week on the network service of the NTA. Thanks a lot for giving us your time. I am Musbah Dan Wahab.
Confidence is there. Hope is back for Nigeria.